want to go into the later philosophers, somebody like Ibn Rushd, because we can understand that the basic, you could say, the basic need for them to rationalize, to bring in this reconciliation between Islam and philosophy is because they understood that the Quran is a book that can be approached by reason. And then later philosophers, so somebody like Ibn Rushd, we know that he was a Qadi as well. So this is somebody who is a person of religion here. And he said but his opinion, I really want to get your opinion on this, that he said that the philosophers are even higher than the theologians, the mutakallimun, because the latter have just discursive knowledge. So the mutakallimun only have kalam, and they only, have this analytical discursive knowledge, whereas the former, the philosophers, have demonstrable knowledge. They can show how they are right and how they are, how they have the answers. So what role does Islamic philosophy have in the interpretation of Islam with respect to the Quran and fiqh? Because Ibn Rushd is clearly saying that Islamic philosophy and philosophers can actually interpret Islam even better than theologians. So, what's your opinion on that?
So far as Ibn Rushd is concerned, he was a Qazi al-Quzat. He was the Chief Justice of Cordova, no doubt in that. And he has written also a book, Al-Kulliyat fi Tibb, that is a compendium of medicine. That is equivalent to the book of Al-Qanun fi Tibb of Ibn Sina. So he had many capacities. In different capacities, he is talking. But so far as his philosophy is concerned, he has written a very interesting book that is Faslul Maqal Fima Baina Shariat wal Hikmat Nisa. And I had the honor of translating that book into English and Urdu as well. And the title of the book, which I have translated, is The Attitude of Islam Towards Philosophy and Science. And he tries to reconcile philosophy with religion and religion with philosophy. And what you said rightly, that he thinks that theologians are inferior to the philosophers. What he says basically, what is his point? He says that there was no fiqh at the time of Prophet which was developed in a full form. But later on, Muslims developed the science of fiqh, that is jurisprudence. In the same way, philosophers have developed the science of metaphysics. They have developed about God, they have talked about God, universe. So in this way, they are the forerunners. And we should take help from them because they have talked about the very important subject like God, like his existence, like his attributes. And other people have not talked about such sublime subjects. So in this way, they have preference over the theologians, he wants to say. And then he says also that the reason can't be against religion in any way, because reason is also created by God, and this universe is also created by God. So the creation of God can't go against other creation of God. Such type of arguments he has provided. And rather he says that philosophy is the foster sister of religion, foster sister of religion. So we can't separate these two. However, his point was basically, that some theologians are just denouncing philosophers, and his allusion was towards Imam Ghazali, because Ghazali had written a book, The Apatal Philosopher, that was the incoherence of philosophers or rebuttal of philosophers, as has been mentioned by T.B. Irving in one of meetings with him when he came to Aligarh in late 70s. So he told me the best translation of that term, this Apatal Philosopher, will be rebuttal of philosophers rather than incoherence or destruction of philosophers. And that was a better, coinage, I should say. However, basically, Ibn Rushd wanted to say that we need to uphold reason as well as philosophy, because philosophy is dealing with very sublime subject about metaphysics. And philosophers have dealt with this aspect, and we should be thankful to them. They have solved our problem, and they have already interpreted many things for us, and theologians should take lead from them. So this was his viewpoint. Although his viewpoint was also a little bit extremist, because he laid much emphasis on reason, and they gave much preference to philosophy over theology, and he could not keep the balance, but he was also under the spell of Aristotle and philosophy, because he was also considered to be the commentator of books of Aristotle. And it is said that he used to write about 70 pages, full pages every night. And he did not write only twice in his life, once when he was married, second when his father died. Only these 2 nights he could not write 70 pages. He was a great commentator of the Greek books, and his influence on the West is much more than on the East and Muslims.
Yes.
And his statue is there in the Barcelona University, outside the Barcelona University of the Spain. Such respect Western people are giving to him. And there is a complete school of Averroism, Averroism in Western context and Western tradition. And he has given the double method, a double truth method. So here we are not discussing that. So I said that, it was Ibn Rushd who has just given preference to philosophers than theologians, no doubt. And he extolled philosophers over the theologians. And he just claims that philosophers are much ahead of the theologians so far as the knowledge about the realities of the universe is concerned, especially the matters like metaphysics, because this is the domain of the philosophers, not of the theologians. And theologians are just having guesswork, but philosophers have demonstration. So the word he has used there, that is demonstration, that is Burhan. And he says that there are 3 categories of people. One category is Ahlul Burhan. Those are the people of demonstration. Second group is Ahlul Tasdeeq, who just accept things on, the common sense grounds. And third is Al Mujadala, the people who need polemical discussion. And he says that philosophers are the Ahlul Burhan. They are the people of demonstration. They don't accept things on their face value, rather than they just have discursive reason behind every aspect of life. Whatever they discuss, they have argument for that. They have Burhan for that. They have demonstration for that. They have proof for that. And we should be thankful to them because they have solved this problem for us. And theologians are just, they are just repeating here and there, and their approach is polemical. Their approach is not demonstrative. So this was his basic point against the theologians.
This, it's, I find it so interesting how the entire Islamic history is like there are movements after movements that are just adding to our perception, adding to our understanding of the world and the Quran. So we can see that the philosophers, at least the big ones, they were right when they said that, yes, reason is very important because Allah, who gave us the Quran, also gave us reason. And with reason, we can understand the Quran. So clearly, we cannot abandon reason at all, just like some people, some literalists would have it. But then they went wrong when they extolled and raised reason even above revelation, and they said they took premises from Greek philosophy, from the Hellenistic tradition, and they took those premises as being demonstrable proof, which Imam Ghazali in his Tahafut explains so well, that you're taking them as assumptions, but then you're taking them as demonstrable proof, but they're just your assumptions.